Tasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Dhanamahiyam Dadati Swapadhantam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajantam Sahagana Raghunathanam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakhantascha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vaibhava Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakarane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Vartashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha kalpatarurvyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome you all to the study of Srimad-bhagavatam, Bhakti-vaibhava. We are studying Canto 1, Chapter 4, the appearance of Sri Narad Muni. We have discussed the first two sections of this chapter. The first section was questions by Shaunak Rishi to Sud Goswami. He asked 4 questions. The first question was when, where, why, and how this great literature, Srimad-bhagavatam, was compiled. Answering to that question, Sud Goswami started speaking from verse number 14, where he told about Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is sitting on the bank of Saraswati River in Badrikashram. He does his morning Gayatri, and after that he sits down on meditation. What is he meditating upon? He's meditating upon the future anomalies that are going to come in Kali Yuga, how people are going to suffer in Kali Yuga, what are their drawbacks, what are their weaknesses. And while he's meditating on that, he is also thinking of what efforts he has put already in that direction in order to help the people of Kali Yuga. He has divided the Veda, one Veda, Yajurveda, into 4 parts, and he has given that to his 4 disciples, so that they can study and they can then teach their disciples and their disciples. And then he gave the 5th part, the 5th Veda, which is of Mahabharata and Puranas, to Roma Harshana, who happens to be the father of Suta Goswami. Right? So we discussed about the Vedas, we discussed about Mahabharata, Puranas, for what kind of audience he gave those scriptures. Right? We discussed all of that. So now we are going to start with verse number 26. This section begins with the same scene. Vyasadeva is sitting in meditation. He's thinking of what he has already done. Now he's thinking about that though I have done so much, but this is not really fulfilling the purpose. Okay, so we'll begin from there. Let's just take some blessings of the Supreme Lord and Mother Saraswati. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Divaye. Verse number 26. Let me put that on screen for all of you to see.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Many people are not able to join. That is what they are posting the message in the group, even with Gauranga.
Re-given the password, with that they should be able to join. Like how you all join in password, no, which I gave, isn't it? So they should also be able to join. I'm telling them to try the password Gauranga, but they're trying some other password. We all join by typing the password Gauranga, right? Yes. Yes. They should also be able to join. Okay, so verse number 26 of Srimad-bhagavatam, chapter 4, first canto. Evam pravrittasya sada bhutanam sheyasi dvijaha sarvatma kinapi yada natushyat hridayam tataha. O twice born brahmanas. So Sud Goswami is speaking to whom? The sages there, right? Twice born brahmanas. Still his mind was not satisfied. Whose mind was not satisfied? Srila Vyasadev's mind was not satisfied. Although he engaged himself in working for the total welfare of all people. Now please try to understand. Here it is being said that Vyasadev was not doing the activity of dividing the Vedas for his personal sense gratification. He was doing it for the benefit of people, right? Though he was working for the benefit of people, he was not really satisfied. Try to understand, if a person is genuinely trying to make others happy, how can that person be miserable? Is it possible? No. In fact, it is said that if you try to give happiness to others, your happiness expands by multiple times. So if Vyasadeva is trying to make others happy, how can he be not satisfied? And this is something very important for preachers of Krishna consciousness movement to understand, that if you are preaching Krishna consciousness and you are not happy, that means you don't know what is Krishna consciousness. There's so many preachers in the movement. They go out, they give lectures, they do so many programs, this, that. But if you look at their personal life, they are not so happy. They are not satisfied. They are miserable. They don't have faith, sufficient faith. Why? Why should we, a preacher of Krishna consciousness, be in depression? Why should a preacher of Krishna consciousness feel insecurity? If we are really giving Krishna to people, and if we are really making people happy, how can we be miserable? Not possible, right? So here, Vyasadeva is trying to make others happy, but he is not personally happy. And because he is going through that state, he is going to introspect. Where am I going wrong? And that's what a practitioner of Krishna consciousness should also do. That I am chanting 16 rounds, I am following 4 every principles, I do seva in the movement of Srila Prabhupada, I am trying to do everything which is told to me, I am preaching, I am distributing books, but why am I not happy? Why am I not experiencing the bliss of Krishna consciousness? One should pause in one's life and think about it. Not that we have to assume that we are happy. Sometimes those who are fanatic practitioners of any kind of spirituality, they tend to assume that my life is okay. But you can see the lines of depression on their forehead. And they tend to assume, I am okay. They are physically ill, they are mentally ill, and still they think, I am fine. My bhakti is going on very nicely. But here today we learn from the sage Vyasadeva that a devotee, a practicing sadhaka, should be very, very introspective. What's going on in my life? I joined this movement 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Did I make the required amount of advancement? How much distance have I covered on the path back home, back to God? Which all anarthas have I overcome? Where am I? Where am I going? What is my speed of progress? What mistakes do I do? What offenses I commit? Right? So here Vyasdev is thinking, I am not satisfied. And because he is not satisfied, he knows that the efforts that he is putting are not complete. Because if you are doing the right thing, how can you get a wrong result? Isn't it? If I am doing the right thing, how will I get the wrong result? If I am getting the wrong result, that means I am not doing the right thing. So let's look at the purport. Sri Vyasadeva was not satisfied with himself, although he had prepared literatures of Vedic value for the all-around welfare of the general mass of people. And what does Prabhupada write? It was expected that he would be satisfied by all such activities. But ultimately, he was not satisfied. And this is something which I always try to focus on, that a devotee should not assume that just because I am doing what I am doing, I am happy. A devotee should really look into one's own heart and see, how am I satisfied in the process of Krishna consciousness? And if I'm not satisfied, then a devotee should try to come out of the comfort zone and try to make the changes that are required to become a better devotee of Krishna. The reason Krishna puts dissatisfaction in the heart of a devotee is that Krishna wants that devotee to step up in Krishna consciousness. When I am not happy in Krishna consciousness, I should take it as a signal from Krishna. Krishna wants me to step up. Krishna wants me to go to the next level of surrender. Krishna wants me to go to the next level of purity in Krishna consciousness. So he's teaching that to all. Here to Vyasadeva. 1.4.27. Nati prasitat tritayah sarasvatyastate suchau vitarkayan viviktastha idam chovacha dharmavit. Thus the sage, being dissatisfied at heart, at once began to reflect. Now this is what a devotee is supposed to do. When you see that you are not happy, reflect. Reflect. What did I do wrong today? What did I do wrong yesterday? What did I do wrong in the last week? If at the end of the day, you see that you are not happy, then you should sit down and think, what mistake did I do today? I chanted 16 nouns, I followed 4 regulatory principles, I studied the scriptures, I heard Bhagavad Katha, I am eating prasadam, but why is my heart not satisfied? Why? Sanjay, after hearing Bhagavad Gita from Lord Krishna, and while he was narrating to Dhritarashtra, what does he say at the end of Bhagavad Gita? He says, my hairs are standing on end. I want to hear this message again and again. I am feeling the bliss that one gets by hearing the nectarian words from Krishna's mouth. So when we sit down to study Bhagavad Gita, do we feel the same? We don't. So when we don't, why don't we question ourselves, where am I going wrong? If we don't question, we'll never get the answer. If we don't question, we'll not realize where are we going wrong. Only when this jigyasa take birth in the heart of a living entity will the Paramatma give the solution to that jigyasa. And this is called Jivasya tattva jigyasa. A living entity should inquire about the truth. Inquire about the truth. Inquiring about the truth doesn't mean that once in a while, in the lifetime, you go to your spiritual master and ask him one question. That is not called tattva jigyasa, brahma jigyasa. Inquiring about the truth means my every day should go in studying param satya, to understand param satya. I should be asking this question every day. Who is Krishna? How can I know Krishna better? I am Atma. What it means to be Atma? What are the qualities of Atma? This is Tattva Jigyasa. And this should go on in the mind of a sadhaka. Srila Prabhupada mentions that you all have completed this section where the sages ask the questions to Suta Goswami. Prabhupada told there that people everywhere in the world are asking questions. Different people are asking different questions. Someone is asking, where is food? Someone is asking, where is bedroom? How can I sleep? Someone is asking, where is sex partner? Someone is asking, how can I protect myself? So everyone is asking questions, but it is related to eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's all. But a spiritualist, a devotee, a spiritual practitioner should be asking questions of tattva jigyasa, tattva. This should happen in the mind. And in whose mind these questions will come? Only that person who is trying to go above tamokun and rajokun. These questions will come in the mind. One will get these inquiries. These burning questions will be there to know about tattva, absolute truth, param satya. And that's what Vyasadeva is trying to do here. He's reflecting, reflection, self-reflection called introspection. At once began to reflect because he knew the essence of religion and he said within himself. He began to reflect because he knew the essence of religion. And he said within himself. Saying within himself means talking to the Paramatma. A devotee must do that. A devotee must have a very positive, clean, sincere, internal dialogue. We are always talking. Sometimes we vocally do that, and most of the time we are talking inside. Talking inside. It's an internal dialogue that is going on. Generally, people think how you present yourself outside, that's what makes you. But people can be talking very nice things outside, and very dirty things might be going on inside. So the purity of one's heart means what is the purity of the thoughts that go inside? What are my internal dialogues? What am I thinking? So Vyasadeva is saying within himself, Purpose. The sage began to search out the cause of not being satisfied. Yes, we must do that. Why am I not satisfied? I have the best Mahamantra. Why am I not satisfied? I have the best scripture, Srimad-bhagavatam. Why am I not satisfied? I have the Sangha of best devotees. Why am I not satisfied? I'm eating the best prasadam, Mahaprasadam. I go to Vrindavan, eat Mahaprasadam there. Go to Mayapur, eat Mahaprasadam there. Go to Jagannath, eat lots of Mahaprasadam there. Why am I not satisfied? Perfection is never attained until one is satisfied as heart. This satisfaction of heart has to be searched out beyond matter. That's what Bhagavad Gita Lord Krishna says. Yuantah sukhi santaramas. In chapter 5, he says, a sage looks for happiness inside, not outside. Looking for happiness inside. Searching for happiness inside. Not looking for happiness in the objects of this world. Going to the shopping mall, buying a new sari or new salwar kurta or new pant and shirt, new shoes, new watches, new mobile phones, new food in the restaurant, buying new things, objects, and thinking, this will give me, this will give me, this will give me happiness. Instead of looking for happiness in new things of this world, that devotee would try to understand what will give me true happiness. Because we know stories of people who had nothing, but they were so happy. What was giving them happiness? What is giving happiness to Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, who goes to the toilet and sits there and chants his japa? What gives him happiness? What gives happiness to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that once in a day he's eating boiled rice right from the floor without even using a plate and a spoon? What gives him happiness? What is the source of that happiness? So thinking about that I am happy, I say so, but what is the quality of my happiness? Anyone you ask in this world, how are you? Same answer, I am fine. Right? That person may be miserable, but while telling I am fine, will give a plastic smile. I am fine, thank you. And then again goes back to the miserable state. So everyone thinks I am happy, but what is the level of my happiness? What is the quality of my happiness? And what is the quality of happiness of the pure devotees of Krishna? One should think like that. Look for that, search for that. And until unless we search, the Vedic scripture says, if you don't search, you won't get it. Because if there is no demand, there is going to be no supply. If there is no demand, no supply. If I don't search for the next level of self-realization of Krishna consciousness, I'll never be promoted to next level of Krishna consciousness. If I am just happy with my present realization, Krishna will say, so be it, tathastu. Just stay there wherever you are. So a person has to strive for the next level. What is that next level? So Vyasadeva is doing that. He's thinking, he's reflecting, Let's go to the next verse. 1.4.28-29. Dritavrate nahi maya chandansi gurubhognayah manita nirgalikena grihitam chanushasanam bharata vipadeshena hi amnayartha sacha pradarshitaha drishyate yatra dharmadi stri shudradi virapyuta. Now what he's doing? He's counting those things which he has done and which he thinks is correct. Because he has to do analysis, what right I did, what wrong I did. So he's thinking, where did I go wrong? Did I not respect my superiors? Did I not worship my teachers? Did I not study the Vedas properly? What I did not do today correctly? A devotee should think like that. What did I not do today correctly? Today did I not chant the rounds properly? Today did I not mindfully honor Krishna Prasadam? Did I today eat something which I was not supposed to eat? Did I today offend some Vaishnava? Did I today do some mistake, or did I today not serve Krishna that service which I was supposed to do every day? A devotee should think like that. And then when we think like that, Krishna will help us get the answer also. That yes, today you did not chant your japa nicely. Yes, today you did not honor prasadam properly. Yes, today you offended that Vaishnava while going to the temple. Krishna will give the answer. Krishna will show the mistake. But for that, a person has to think. So here Vyasadeva is thinking. I have, under strict disciplinary vows, unpretentiously worshipped the Vedas. So first point, I did proper worship to the Vedas. Then I have observed strict disciplinary vows. I worship the spiritual masters. And I also performed the sacrifice, the Vedic sacrifice. Means I have done all what I am supposed to do. I have also abided by the rulings and have shown the import of disciplic succession through the explanation of Mahabharata, by which even women, Shudras and others, friends of the twice born, can see the path of religion. So he's thinking, I have done everything properly, but why am I not happy? Why am I not happy? I've done everything nicely. Why am I not happy? What is the answer? You have not done everything properly. You have not done the right thing. That's the answer. That's what he will realize. So look at the purpose. No one can understand the import of the Vedas without having undergone a strict disciplinary vow and disciplined succession. The Vedas, spiritual masters and sacrificial fire must be worshipped by the desiring candidate. We should know one thing, please, dear devotees, try to understand. The Vedas, they will reveal the knowledge to us on the basis of how sincere we are. Don't think that everyone who is opening Bhagavad Gita and Srimad-bhagavatam understand the statements to the same level. No. It's not the same. The meaning, the realization, the direction that we will get depends a lot on how we make the approach. We should not think that a person who is pure in heart, that person is studying Bhagavad Gita, his understanding would be the same as someone who is just doing sense gratification in the name of Krishna consciousness. It's not going to be the same. How we approach the scriptures, on that basis, the scriptures reveal the mysteries which are hidden. The scriptures will give direction, will talk to us, but it all depends on how we approach the scripture, how we approach our relationship with the spiritual master. For those who are very sincere, even if they don't meet the spiritual master is always talking in their ears. For those very sincere. Even if they don't physically meet the spiritual master is giving the answer to all their questions in their ear. They hear the spiritual master. They are connected heart to heart. They are connected. And those who are not sincere, even if they go and ask the spiritual master face to face, the spiritual master will give the answer, but that will not go inside. That will not go inside. So people say, I cannot meet my Gurudev, I cannot meet my Guru Maharaj, I cannot meet my spiritual master. That's why I'm a fallen disciple. That's why I'm a bad disciple. Because I'm not getting answers to my questions. But if one is sincere, wherever you are, even if you are in Antarctica, if you are sincere, the spiritual master will talk. And a genuine disciple will hear in the heart the answer. Because that connection is there. Further, Prabhupada writes, the Vedas, spiritual masters and sacrificial fire must be worshipped by the desiring candidate. We must worship. We must worship our Guru Janas. We must do Guru Puja every day without fail. Whether we are a brahmachari or a grihastha, we must do Guru Puja every day. Every day. Not that we have grihastha, so we go to temple once in a month, we do Guru Puja. It's mandatory that every devotee should do Guru Puja every day. Worship the spiritual master every day. Have the picture of your gurus in your house. Offer respects to them. Worship them. We should know this is Nitya Karma. This is the duty of a disciple, which a disciple or a student should do daily. Worshipping the spiritual master, worshipping the Supreme Lord, studying the scriptures. We must do it daily, not once in a while. If we cannot go to temple, do Guru Puja at home. Do it mentally if we cannot do it physically while traveling. Think of the spiritual master. Offer pranams to spiritual master in the mind. There are so many devotees in a movement, they forget the pranam mantras of their spiritual master. There are so many devotees in the movement, they forget the pranam mantra of Srila Prabhupada. Why? Because they are not thinking. How can a disciple forget the pranam mantra of his guru? When you forget, because when you don't try to remember it daily, you forget. But they don't. So we should know this thing. This has to be done daily, studying the Vedas, worshipping the spiritual master, attending Arati. All these intricacies of Vedic knowledge are systematically presented in the Mahabharata for the understanding of the woman class, the laborer class, and the unqualified members of Brahmana, Kshatriya or Vaishya families. In this age, the Mahabharata is more essential than the original Vedas. We should understand in the writings of Prabhupada, all the instructions are there. If we are serious enough, we'll get it. We'll catch. If we are not sincere enough, we will lose those instructions. We must worship these personalities every day. We must remember the 6 Goswamis every day. It is said, anyone who remembers the 6 Goswamis on daily basis, Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha, Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath, all the obstacles on the path of their Krishna consciousness will get destroyed. If you just remember these 6 people every day, just once chant their name, all the obstacles will be destroyed. They will help us. But the point is, we don't want to remember. We don't try to remember. 1.4.30. Tathapi batame deho hi atma chaivatmana vibhuhu asampanna iva bhati brahma varchasya sattamaha. I am feeling incomplete. I am feeling incomplete. How can we feel complete? How can we feel complete? If actually, honestly speaking, a devotee should never feel complete if he is a sincere devotee. A devotee should never feel that I am fine. How can we be fine? Until unless we become a pure devotee of Krishna, we cannot be fine. We can only say I am fine, but we cannot be fine. Experiencing all the body troubles, all the mind troubles, all the ego problems, how can we be fine? As long as our heart is tormented by lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, how can we be fine? We cannot be fine, right? And those who feel that I am not fine, they will cry in front of Krishna. They will cry for sadhu sangha. They will cry for pure holy name. They will cry for the attitude of pure devotional service. And when they will cry, Krishna will give. If they don't, Krishna will not give. Please try to understand this one thing, that Lord Krishna, through this ISKCON movement, all the acharyas, through this ISKCON movement, they are giving us opportunity. They are showing us a reality which can become a possibility for us. But it doesn't mean that they will do our job. We have to do our job. They are showing, this is Vrindavan. You want to go there? You can. This is Mayapur. You want to go there? You can. This is Krishna's pastime. You want to participate? You can. But there's a big but. Do you want to? Are you thinking only about that? Do you want only that? Are you preparing yourself for that? Are you doing? That's what they're asking. That's what they are checking. What am I doing with it? And one thing we should know, this I have told one of my friends, it was long time back and we used to stay together, and that time I was not married. 10 years later got married. I came into Brahmacharya ashram. So in the evening time I was talking to him and I told him one thing, that don't think that the opportunity you have got now is going to stay with you for eternity. This opportunity of going back home, back to God. This has come to us by the special mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This has come to us by the special mercy of Srila Prabhupada. If we think it's because of my piety, my own qualities, I have got it, then don't think so. This is an opportunity being given to us. And if we delay in using the opportunity completely and properly, then we should not take it for granted that this will come to us again very soon. There is always a danger of misusing the grace of God. God is graceful, but there is always a danger of misusing it or underusing it. And sometimes people of this world, they begin to think, I have joined ISKCON, now I am going back on that project. I am going. Because I have taken initiation, I am going. It's pakka. Prabhupada is so merciful. He will take me. I am going. We just take it for granted that we will go. And that's what the Muslims are thinking. Prophet Muhammad will take us. That's what the Christians are thinking. Jesus Christ will take us. That's what everyone is thinking. I join one clan, one society, and I am going. So it's not that. This institute, this organization, it is just a platform to give us an opportunity to create a favorable environment. That you come there and you make use of that opportunity to succeed in the goal of becoming self-realized. But the problem is people come to the institute and then they make living in the institute, enjoying within the institute, socializing within the institute their goal. And they forget. We came to the institute to transcend the three modes of material nature. We came to the institute to use the boat, not always remain in the boat to cross the ocean. Right? The institute is a boat. The society is a boat. The organization is a boat. The opportunity is a boat. It has to be used to go beyond. And that's why sometimes, I'm sorry, I'm very open about it today. I feel very bad when I see the senior members of our movement not increasing their bhajan, not increasing their sadhana, not increasing their renunciation, but only remaining interested in post and position within the society. Somehow that I want to become a temple president, somehow that I want to make a new temple, somehow that I want to do this, I want to do that, this big thing, that big thing. But what about your 16 good rounds? What about your study of Srimad-bhagavatam? What about your sadhu sangha? What about your tapasya? What about that? What about your personal love for Lord Krishna? What about that? And people forget. They just become materialistic within a spiritual organization. Not keeping the eye on the goal. The goal is what? The goal is prema pumarthamaha. How much love I have for Krishna. Genuine love. Sincere love. How much do I yearn for pure sadhu sangha, to sit with them and to just talk and hear about Krishna for hours and hours and hours and hours? Do I feel that when will that day come when I'll have no attachment to eating, sleeping, mating and defending? When will that day come when I'll stay awake throughout the night crying out the names of Krishna? When will that day come? When will that day come that I sit to study Srimad-bhagavatam and I forget the time? That should what we desire. Right? But only getting involved into projects and this and that, trying to go up in the corporate ladder within the society, looking for a better post and position, trying to show to others I'm such a big preacher, I'm such a distributor, I'm such a preacher, I'm such a kirtaniya, I'm this, I am that. That's not the point, that's not the goal of Krishna consciousness. The goal of Krishna consciousness is my heart should be submerged in the bliss of love for Krishna. That is the goal of Krishna consciousness. And Vyasadeva is thinking about it. Why am I not happy? What's not giving me satisfaction? I did everything. I am feeling incomplete, though I myself am fully equipped with everything required by the Vedas. Undoubtedly, Srila Vyasadeva was complete in all the details of Vedic achievements. Purification of the living being submerged in matter is made possible by the prescribed activities in the Vedas, but the ultimate achievement is different. Unless it is attained, the living being, even though fully equipped, cannot be situated in the transcendentally normal stage. Srila Vyasadeva appeared to have lost the clue and therefore felt dissatisfaction. He felt dissatisfaction. Where am I going wrong? 1.4.30. Kim ma bhagavata dharma na prayena nirupitaha priyaha paramahamsanam ta eva hi achyut priyaha. Because he is sincere, Vyasadeva is sincere, Krishna is giving him the answer. And this is going to happen with all the devotees who are sincere. As soon as you do a mistake and if you are sincere, Krishna will point out. Krishna will tell you. Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnana jamtamaha. Chapter 10 Gita, shloka number 11. Tesham evanukam partham aham ajnana jamtamaha. I lit the lamp of knowledge in the heart of that devotee. So we should know, as a devotee, we may have conflicts in our life, we may have confusions, we may be going through the dark phase, the dark night of the soul, we may be going through a bad time. But for a devotee, that bad time does not last forever. Because Krishna will put on the light soon. So if a devotee says, I am depressed, I am sorry, then you are not practicing Krishna consciousness. You are not practicing Krishna consciousness. Because a devotee may have bad times, but a devotee cannot have eternally bad times. Krishna will pull that devotee out. Those bad times come as opportunities to go to a higher level of Krishna consciousness. So because Vyasadeva is sincere, he is getting the solution, the hint to the solution within his heart. He's getting the hint within his heart, where I might have gone wrong. He's getting that signal from inside. So what does he say? Kimma bhagavata dharma. Oh, perhaps this is the mistake that I did. Bhagavata dharma. I did not explain, I did not describe, I did not give sufficient attention on this thing, Bhagavata dharma. Na prayena nirupitaha. What nirupitaha means? Nirupita means to direct. Nirupita means to cultivate. Nirupita means if you sow a seed in the land, then you water it, then you make it into a plant, a tree, you take care of it. Nirupana, explanation. Nirupana is explanation. What I did not do, I did not explain Bhagavata, which is Priyaha Paramahamsana, which is very dear to the Paramahamsas. The Eva hi Achyut Priyaha. This may be because I did not specifically point out the devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible. And this is something very important for devotees to know, that especially for the preachers, I speak it quite often. A preacher should make it sure that when you go out to preach, you may use the bridge method, which is bring the people from their level to your level or to a level of proper Krishna consciousness. But one should not forget, we should not miss on the point of giving Krishna to people. If you just go out there and teach people how to control your mind, how to have good relationship with your wife, how to earn money, how to do this and that, and if you're not giving people Krishna consciousness, neither will people be happy, nor will you be happy. A preacher should very much know that if you are skillful enough, if you are expert enough, that you can make the bitter medicine sweet, then you go out and preach in that manner. But if you don't know the art to do that, then keep your mouth shut, don't preach. Keep your mouth shut and don't preach. For you, then preaching is very simple, which Prabhupada said. Go to people and just say, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hari Bol. Just preach that much. But if you want to be an expert preacher, then remember that preaching means not that you go to people and you entertain them and you just make them happy and you say, I've done prachar. Prachar means person should be able to implant Krishna in their heart. That is prachar. I should be able to give them Krishna. That is prachar. And a person should know that art. If a person does not know that art, then we should learn that art. If we want to help people, then first of all, we should know we can only help people if we work under the Haladini potency of Lord Krishna. If we have been given the grace by Srimati Radharani, then we can preach to people. And for that grace, we have to cry. Srila Bhakti-Vinod Thakur in Jagannath Puri at night 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, he used to go to the bank of the ocean called Mahodadi, where Lord Chaitanya took the body of Haridas Thakur and bathed him in that sacred water. Bhakti-Vinod Thakur at 1 o'clock at night used to go there and he used to dive into that sand, roll into that sand, put that sand all over his body and cry, my dear Lord Chaitanya, I want to preach. Please make me qualified. Please make me qualified. I want to carry your compassion and give it to people. Make me qualified. So if you want to preach, you should cry to Krishna like that. Because preaching does not happen because of our intellectual abilities, because of our oratorship skills, because of our sweet cuckoo-like voice and singing. That doesn't preach. That doesn't preach. Srila Prabhupada, if you look at him materially, he was not any of these things. He was not any of these things. He had his god brothers who were more scholarly like than him. He had people, god brothers, who could sing more melodiously than him. His English was heavily accented with Bengali. But then he had that compassion, pure compassion. And because of that, his words entered into the heart of people and created a revolution. So we have to go for that kind of preaching, not just telling anything in the name of Krishna consciousness and we say this is preaching. So he's saying, because I have not, let me share now the screen. I did not point out devotional service of the Lord, which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. We should know one thing, we can be happy only and only if we serve. We have to serve all kinds of devotees, no doubt about it. But we must serve pure sadhus. We must serve pure sadhus. We must serve them at least mentally, if not physically. We must serve. Shushosho Shraddha Vasudeva Katharuchihi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat Mahat Seva. Mahat Seva. Lord Rishabh says, by Mahat Seva, the Dwar to liberation will open. One should do Mahat Seva. Seva to great souls. We must do Seva to great souls. Because if we do Seva to great souls, their one merciful glance on us can change our life. One merciful glance. We must do this. Yes, we have to serve all the Vaishnavas. Anyone who comes to our life, we must serve that person. But in our heart, we must have this desire. I want to do Mahat Seva. Maybe once in my whole life, but I want to do Mahat Seva. I want to get the dust of the pure devotees of Krishna on my head. We must do that. But somehow there are, very unfortunately, in our society, devotees are only happy with association of Kanishtadikaris. They just want to stay in the association of Kanishtadikaris and remain like that. They don't want to associate with Madhyamadikari Vaishnavas or Uttamadikari Vaishnavas. They just want to remain in their frog's well, that's all. Just stay where you are and be happy. Just stay there and think this is Krishna consciousness. No, we must go beyond, go to the next level. And in this journey of self-realization, we must remember one thing, that if others are not making progress, it's not that we should also stay behind. That would be a great foolishness on our part. We should move ahead. We should go ahead. For that matter, if you have to leave your husband behind, your wife behind, your children behind, your father and mother behind, your friends behind, your disciples behind, or even your superiors behind, because they are not interested in making progress, leave them behind and move forward. Go forward. Go to the next level. That pleases Krishna and the Gurus the most. Sometimes in our society we see people forget, did I join this movement just to remain a member of my congregational team? Or did I join this movement to get Krishna Prema? Why did I come here? And one should always remain focused on that goal. One should always try to speed up in that direction. Because this whole journey is everyone's alone journey, single journey. Not that, okay, we are going to stay together and march together. Of course, we will go back to Godhead together. Because it's with the help of others we go. But it doesn't mean that, he is going, so I am going. She is going, I am going. We have to make our own journey. That's why Srila Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj used to say something very interesting and very nice. He used to say, while you are surrounded by all these devotees around you, chanting japa with them, eating prasadam with them, dancing with them, celebrating with them, you should know one thing in your heart. You should know one thing in your heart. What is that? You are alone. And you have to make this journey alone. You are alone. Because all these people will come and go. So many counselors will come and go. So many disciples will come and go. So many friends will come and go. Everyone will come and go. But your journey is there. That one should not miss on. So that's why, you see, for a devotee, this understanding should be there. Sometimes we waste so much of our time in socialization that we are always talking. Doing japa also we are talking. Doing Guru Puja also we are talking. Every time we meet devotees, we are talking and talking and talking. So much of socialization within ISKCON. You came to ISKCON for this, just to make friends and sit and talk to them. And talk about what? Talk about this devotee, that devotee, this is going on in the society, that is going on in the society. What about Krishna? What about sadhana? What about making advancement in Krishna consciousness? You get to see this especially during the yatras. You know, people go to Mayapur and Vrindavan, they're sitting and talking. And talking what? Talk begins from 4:30 in the morning and goes on till 10 o'clock at night. Talk about anything. Simply socializing. And they say this is Sangha, this is Sadhu Sangha. Eat together, talk together, do prajalpa together, crack jokes, and I'm happy in Krishna consciousness. This is not Sadhu Sangha. Right? This is not Sadhu Sangha. This is waste of time. So one has to be very careful about that, not missing on the goal of Krishna consciousness, and the goal of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, what we are doing is only what demigods do in the heaven. That's all. That is mixed devotional service. That is not pure devotional service. That is mixed devotional service. And mixed devotional service cannot take one back to God. It will leave one here only. One will stay here. Nowhere else one will go. Reading further. The dissatisfaction which was being felt by Srila Vyasadeva is expressed herein in his own words. This was felt for the normal condition of the living being in the devotional service of the Lord. Unless one is fixed in the normal condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. If I don't make Krishna happy with my efforts, I won't be happy. That's the point. So for every devotee, this is the goal, to know, how can I make Krishna happy? What is my seva for Krishna? What is my seva for Guru that will make them happy? And once one has found that, and when one dedicates one's life to do that, then that person's life is successful. This should be understood by us, that each one of us has something to do. And when we realize what is that, and when we do that wholeheartedly with 100% surrender, our life is successful. And that may be something very different from what others of devotees are supposed to do. That devotee might be supposed to do something, and I might be supposed to do something. And we have to find that out. What is that thing that I have to do for my spiritual masters, for the Guru Parampara, for Lord Krishna? And if I have done that, my life is successful. Right? I'll tell you the story of His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Damodar Swami Maharaj, very dear disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Dr. T.D. Singh, scientist. He met Srila Prabhupada outside India. He was not married. From Manipur, he belonged to a Vaishnava family. Very scholarly person. He was doing his higher studies in, I don't know whether he met Prabhupada in the US or Canada. And he became a disciple of Prabhupada. Later he took sannyas, and he was preaching all over the world, preaching to scientists. So in 2006 or 7, he left his body. So that time, a god brother asked a question to His Grace Deenbandhu Prabhu from Vrindavan. Why did Krishna take Maharaj now, when the whole world started appreciating his contribution to the field of science, when he proved to so many people that life has come from life and not from matter, when the world was going to recognize his contribution, why did Krishna take him? Why did he not get the success that he deserved? He worked for 4 decades for that. And then Deenbandhu Prabhu gave the answer. He went because Prabhupada called. Because in the eyes of the world, in the eyes of his God brothers and God sisters, in the eyes of his disciples, in the eyes of his followers, he might not be successful. But in the eyes of his Guru Maharaj Prabhupada, he is successful. So Prabhupada took him back to God. And that's what we have to know. We have to become successful in the eyes of Krishna. We have to become successful in the eyes of pure devotees of Krishna. Whether the world will appreciate our success or not, forget about it. Whether we will get any reward from the world, from the people of this world, forget about it. Whether Kanishta Adhikaris will appreciate our efforts, forget about it. It is the pure devotees of Krishna who should recognize and appreciate. Yes, this is a sincere devotee. Let us take him back home. They will give the ticket. The counter seat is theirs. They will give the ticket. Okay, you have done your part. Now you come. And we should know this thing. It's them who we have to please. It's them that we have to please. That should remain in our focus always. That it's them that we have to please. Then they will take us back, come back to God. So unless one is fixed in the condition of service, neither the Lord nor the living being can become fully satisfied. This defect was felt by him when Narad Muni, his spiritual master, reached him. It is described as follows. So as he was thinking, Narad Muni came. He manifested himself. The help came. For a sincere devotee, help is always there. Always there. It's always there. The help will come. The Guru will manifest in different forms. We should know one thing. Guru is not limited to one form. Sometimes people think Guru is limited to one person. This can be only my Guru, no one else. This one person is my Guru. After that, no one else. And my Guru will speak only through that one person. But it's not like that. Bhakti-vaibhava Thakur says, the Guru can manifest even from the mouth of a non-devotee. Guru can manifest. Can manifest from anywhere and everywhere. For a sincere devotee, a disciple, the Guru is manifesting at all times. When a sincere disciple does something wrong, the Guru will pull on the ears. And when a sincere disciple does anything right, the Guru will pat on the back. This will happen. At every day, in every day, every moment, one will feel like that. One who is connected. And one who is not connected, one will feel, oh, my Guru Dev is not there, my Guru Maharaj is gone, I am alone, I am helpless, I am lonely, no one can help me. One will feel like that. But one who is connected will not feel like that. Tasyevam khilamatmanam manyamanasya khityataha Krishnasya naradobhyagat ashramam prag udahritam. As mentioned before, Narada reached the cottage of Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas on the banks of the Saraswati, just as Vyasadev was regretting his defects. This is very important. One must regret one's defects. This regret should not turn into depression. It should not turn into depression. This regret should not. You know, sometimes I feel so surprised and shocked. Then people, they laughingly, joyfully tell what is their weakness, what they are not able to do. They'll come and they'll smilingly tell, Prabhuji, yesterday I could not complete my rounds. So busy, you know, so life is so difficult. Prabhuji, I could not complete my rounds. And then they will go around spreading their logical explanation of why they could not. And then they will say to others also, chalta hai bhai, thoda bahut, it happens, doesn't matter. It's okay. Chalta hai, kya? How much can you do? So much service is there to do. You know, Guru Maharaj is make temple, I'm making temple. So I'm not chanting my rounds. Right? Or I'm in Grihastha ashram, 5 babies I have. You know, how can I chant my 16 rounds? Chalta hai. Mataji chalta hai. Hota hai, ye sab to hota hai. And then you say, no, it doesn't go like that. My Gurudev is very merciful. Patita Pavan. He will deliver me. And in that way, they will, instead of regretting and feeling guilt for what wrong is going on, they'll just be happy. It's okay. Doesn't matter. That should not happen. We should have lamentation. Our lamentation is not the lamentation of a materialistic person, but we must lament, and that lamentation is spiritual. Bhakti-Vinod Thakur is lamenting in his songs. He's lamenting, he's teaching us how to lament spiritually. And we should know that that spiritual lamentation will not lead to depression. That will lead to ecstatic devotional service. That lamentation is very much needed. But that lamentation is possible only in the heart of a humble soul, not a proud soul. Once I was driving from one house program to the base, and one young boy was driving the car, sitting in the front row. And then I was talking to him, so I told him that a devotee should feel that I am so small and God is so great. After 2 days, he told me one thing. He said, Prabhuji, for 2 days I am thinking I am small, and I entered into depression. Why depression? Because you are not thinking from a humble heart. You are thinking from a proud heart. And that is now attacking your false ego. Because you think I am great. Your false ego is like that. And when you tell yourself I am not great, then the false ego is crushed. And when the false ego is crushed, you enter into depression. We have to learn the art of spiritual lamentation, which is taught by Bhakti-Vinod Thakur. He's singing, all the demons are going back home, back to God, and they are getting your mercy. But why Bhakti-Vinod is not getting? Why Bhakti-Vinod is not getting? All the demons are getting your mercy. So a devotee should lament like that. Why am I not chanting my rounds properly? Why am I not honoring prasadam properly? Why am I not doing sadhu sangha nicely? Why? One should lament, one should feel pity on oneself. One should do that. And that is the mood of a Gaudiya Vaishnava. We should know this thing. A Gaudiya Vaishnava is not someone who just jumps around and shows that I am very happy. One should know this thing. It is so interesting to see people, when you go to Kirtan Mela in Mayapur, or you see these young boys dressed up in fancy dhoti kurta and flowing hairs, presenting themselves as Gandharvas, and so many apsaras sitting around them, and then chanting some very, romantic melodies of Hare Krishna, and they say this will give them Krishna prema. This is not the mood of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Gaudiya Vaishnavas, when they chant Hare Krishna, they chant in the mood of separation. They chant in the mood of separation, crying for the Lord. Not in the mood of celebration. It's not party time. Just coming together and chanting to attract the attention of opposite sex. That will not take us back to God. One should chant for Krishna's attraction, to capture Krishna's attention. That's how one should chant. You should see the photograph of Prabhupada chanting on harmonium and Yamuna Mataji recording him. Study, look at that photograph, and then you get the idea of what it means to cry for Krishna. Look on the face of Prabhupada. He's chanting with such deep emotions on his face, crying for Krishna. That's how one has to chant for. Not just to make others, feel, oh, this is so sweet. This devotee's voice is like a Gandharva. Not like that. That is simply sense gratification in the name of chanting. That chanting will not purify anyone's heart. Not purify anyone's heart. It will be only entertainment. Simply entertainment. So here, as mentioned before, Narad reached the cottage of Vyasadeva on the banks of the Saraswati, just as Vyasadeva was regretting his defects. Purport. The vacuum felt by Vyasadeva was not due to his lack of knowledge. This is again a powerful line. To know a lot doesn't make you a good devotee. Just because I know the Shastras, I can quote shlokas, I can counsel people, that doesn't make one a good devotee or a pure devotee of Krishna. That knowledge has to be transformed into practical application. That's very much needed. Just the knowledge of the Shastras are not sufficient. That knowledge has to be applied. It has to be put into practice. So Vyasadeva was not lacking knowledge. Further Prabhupada writes, Bhagavad Dharma is purely devotional service of the Lord to which the monist has no access. The monist is not counted amongst the Paramahamsas, the most perfect of the renounced order of life. Srimad-bhagavatam is full of narrations of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Although Vyasadeva was an empowered divinity, he was Shakti-vaibhava, he still felt dissatisfaction because in none of his works were the transcendental activities of the Lord properly explained. The inspiration was infused by Sri Krishna directly in the heart of Vyasadeva, and thus he felt the vacuum as explained. So we know this is a pastime of Krishna. Vyasadeva is a liberated soul, is a Shakti-vaibhava, literally incarnation of Krishna. He is a perfect being, but Krishna is just using him to teach us. Just like Krishna used Arjuna to teach us, Krishna used Yudhishthira to teach us, Krishna is using Vyasadeva to teach us. That when you feel vacuum in your heart, what you should be doing, right? And this is something very practical for all of us. When we feel lost in Krishna consciousness, just do a simple thing. Take your beat back and chant the holy names in the spirit of urgency. Call out to Krishna. Go in front of the deities, cry out to them. Open the Bhagavatam and read it as if this is the only thing that can save you. Then you see the Krishna's support will come. But we have to take that shelter of holy name, of Bhagavatam, of Sangha, of Vaishnavas. We have to understand the urgency that this is not a plaything. It's not some fun party going on here. It's serious business. Samsaradava nalalida loka tranaya karunya dhanadhanatvam. This world is a place of burning fire. And when there is fire, then you run. You run. You go to the place of shelter where there is water. So when there is fire in our heart, fire in our life, we must run to the proper shelter. That shelter is pure name, pure Bhagavatam. That is the shelter. We must run. But instead of running there, where do we go? We go to our so-called relatives, friends, our money, bank balance. Some people go to alcohol. Some people go to parties, cinemas, not talking about devotees, non-devotees. We go to different places, we run here and there, but we don't run to Krishna. We don't go to Krishna. We don't go to Guru. It is definitely expressed here with that without the transcendental loving service of the Lord, everything is void. But in the transcendental service of the Lord, everything is tangible without any separate attempt at fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculation. Last verse. Tam abhikya sahasa pratyuthaya gatam munihi pujayam asa vidhivan naradam sura pujitam. At the auspicious arrival of Sri Narada, Sri Vyasadeva got up respectfully and worshipped him, giving him veneration equal to that given to Brahmaji, the creator. Vidhivat, the word vidhi can mean Brahma, the word vidhi, because he got the knowledge of the Vedas, and vidhi also means process. So vidhivat means properly, worship the spiritual master properly, vidhivat. Like in Gita, Krishna says, right? Avidhi purvakam. Those who worship the demigods, they worship me in avidhi purvakam, means in an improper manner. Likewise, here vidhivat can mean properly, or vidhivat can mean also with the same respect as shown to Brahma, because Brahma's one name is Vidhi. So Vidhi means Brahma, the first created living being. He is the original student as well as professor of the Vedas. He learned it from Sri Krishna and taught Narada first. So Narada is the second Acharya in the line of spiritual disciplic succession. He is the representative of Brahma and therefore is respected exactly like Brahma, the father of all Vidhis regulations. Similarly, all other successive disciples in the chain are also equally respected as representatives of the original spiritual master. Thus, in the Bhakti-Vedanta purpose of the first canto, fourth chapter of the Srimad-bhagavatam, entitled The Appearance of Sri Narada. So it's mentioned that one should worship the spiritual master properly. One must. This is very important. Sadly, now in ISKCON, one very bad mood has become, rampant. And what is that? We are not sufficiently showing respect to our spiritual masters. We are not. We are not. We are not showing how much respect should be given to pure devotees of Krishna. The pure devotees of Krishna, they have all the demigods residing in the body. They have Krishna residing in the body, and they must be respected sufficiently. But in the name of practicality, in the name of so-called rhythmic thoughts that are so prevalent in the members of this movement, people are not showing sufficient respect. And that respect is not to be shown just to one's Diksha Guru. That respect should be shown to all the pure devotees of Krishna. All the pure devotees of Krishna. Because they are carrying Krishna's mercy in their heart. And we have to show respect to that. We must show that. But it has become a culture in ISKCON. Even if people see sadhus, sannyasis, spiritual masters, they don't even bow down. They don't even offer pranams. They will just walk from this side as if it's okay. So busy in one's own, as I said, socialization, then one forgets the proper practice of etiquette. Etiquette has to be observed. One must respect the sadhus. We know this pastime of Srila Prabhupada walking on the streets of Vrindavan and a Mayavadi sannyasi coming from the opposite side. And then when Mayavadi sannyasi left from there, Prabhupada asked his disciples, why did you not offer obeisances? And they said, Prabhupada, Mayavadi. Prabhupada says, so what? He is sannyasi. You must offer obeisances. Prabhupada is saying offer obeisance to Mayavadi sannyasi. And here we have devotees in our movement who don't offer obeisances to ISKCON sannyasis. Because they have a very stiff back. The back is not stiff. The false ego is stiff. And one cannot go down. One cannot go down. Whereas we learn from Raghunath Das Goswami, he was going down 2,000 times a day. 2,000. Counting that I have to give 2,000 obeisances to Vaishnavas. And if he did not see a Vaishnava sufficiently on that day, then he would start going down to the ants, to the monkeys, to the trees. Because in Vrindavan, everyone is a Vaishnava. And then he would complete his 2,000 obeisances. So the practice of bhakti is very simple. The principles are very simple. It's just that we have to follow it nicely. Maintain the sanctity and the purity of the process. And do it properly. Very much needed. The basics given by Srila Prabhupada are sufficient to take us back to Godhead if we only follow that much sincerely. The basics, the simple basics. that must be followed. It is so important, very important, that not to talk when it is not required to talk. This is something which I personally don't like, that Arati is going on and devotees are standing and talking. If you want to talk, go out of the temple hall and talk. Don't talk with inside, because that's an offense. That when the worship is going to being offered to the Lord, standing there and simply just talking and talking and talking. That even the Christians don't do in the church. That even the Muslims don't do in the mosque. But we see Hare Krishnas. They make the temple a playground. Just going inside there, jumping around, laughing, joking, talking. Even you will see, forget about this, you will see young boys, young girls flirting with each other. And then they think, and then if they get problems in spiritual life, they don't understand what's going wrong. I'm chanting, what's going wrong? So we have to understand this whole science. Everything, not just your 16 rounds, the whole science. And more important than that is the mood of our approach in Krishna consciousness. How do we approach Krishna consciousness? How do we approach Krishna consciousness? Very important. Very, very important. So in that way, one has to understand from this section, we must introspect. It's so important. Every day, take out 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to just look at your own sadhana. And go to a separate room. Go away from the crowd. Be alone. And in that solitude, try to find out the reality. Very important. Like I was telling, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj used to tell that though you are surrounded by so many people, don't forget that you are alone. And in that loneliness, look for the association of Lord Krishna and his pure devotees. Find Krishna in that loneliness. Find the Sangha of sadhus in that loneliness. Because at the time of death, we will be alone. At the time of problem, we will be alone. If you are admitted in hospital with your leg hanging upside down, or you are in the stage of coma, you will be alone. Right? So that time no one will help. Why not prepare for that from now onwards? Prepare for it. At least 5 minutes, 10 minutes, prepare for it. At least when you chant a japa, prepare for it. That this is the time for me and Krishna. This is the time for me and my spiritual master. But during that time also, we are busy on a mobile phone, chanting with one hand, messaging with other hand. So we should know one thing very important, in that how much quality time we are giving to Lord Krishna, that much reciprocation also we will get from Krishna. How much quality time we are giving to the service of pure Vaishnavas, that much reciprocation we get from pure Vaishnavas. But we must do that. We must do that. It's very important. And we should not forget the basics. Unfortunately, this is happening in ISKCON very much. We are just forgetting the basics. And once this group of Prabhupada disciples, they all leave the planet, it's going to become very, very bad situation for ISKCON. Because now they are showing with their example. But after they are gone, then so many devotees are going to fall in line, for sure. So many are going to be in line. Damn sure. So many. So many will leave the movement. So many will leave their practice of Krishna consciousness. So many will be lost. Because they have not yet seriously started developing their relationship with Krishna, with the Guru. They have not seriously put efforts in that direction. So this is so important. So we must introspect every day. Learn from these episodes in Bhagavatam. They are not just stories. They are full of lessons, instructions, guidance. That this is how it happens in the life of a devotee. And a devotee should learn from that. Should learn and practice in one's life. So thank you very much. Any questions? Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah. Audible?
Yeah, but the voice is not clear.
Am I audible? Okay. Okay. Prabhuji, thank you very much for the class. Very, very heavy class with so many practical learnings. My query is only one query with respect to text number 28, 29 in the translation. First two lines. I have under strict disciplinary vows unpretentiously worship the Vedas, the spiritual master, and the altar of sacrifice. Now, we have learned, Prabhuji, that I have learned, Prabhuji, that whenever a person starts, an aspiring devotee starts something, he cannot be successful till he has taken a blessing of the spiritual master. So here, Vyasadevji is himself saying that he has done all these. So then, how can he be unsuccessful of not quoting about Krishna in his first attempt? That's the question.
Vyasadeva is thinking like that. But because he's thinking like that, doesn't mean that he did what he's supposed to. That he'll realize later. No? See, when you follow a process, if you follow it partially, that doesn't make you correct completely. So he followed to some extent, but he did not do what he was supposed to do also. Which was what? We explained Bhagavatam. Right? So if I am following one instruction of my spiritual master, but I am not following the other 5 instructions, that doesn't make me correct and complete. One has to follow everything completely. If you just follow partially, then it is partial. It's not complete. So Vyasadeva, he understood that he followed certain things very nicely, but he did not follow certain things. Right? So he did some certain things, but there were certain things he did not do. Like, I'll give you an example. Some devotees will tell, my Gurudev gave me so much seva, Prabhuji. And I'm doing all that seva, but I'm not chanting 16 rounds. But your Gurudev also told you on the day of Diksha that every day you chant 16 rounds. In fact, that is the only thing your Gurudev told you. No spiritual master tells anything else on the day of Diksha. Right? Rarely we see that. That some spiritual master will tell you, chant 16 rounds every day without any offenses, follow 4 regulative principles, and make 10 temples. No, spiritual master gives only these 2 basic instructions. Right? After that, spiritual master may give some more instructions. But then the spiritual master never says that, forget my past instructions, just follow these instructions. He adds to our seva. He never subtracts from it. So we have to know one thing, that we have to follow fully. Fully. Fully means fully. Diksha kale shishya kare atma samarpan. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Diksha kale shishya kare atma samarpan. Atma samarpan means 100%. One's body, one's mind, one's intellect, one's energy, one's resources, oneself. Fully gives to spiritual master. Then it's complete. Giving it partially doesn't make it complete. Partial surrender to Krishna is very easily possible. Right? Very easily possible. I surrender how much I can. Conditional. Partial. Krishna is telling in Gita, full surrender. Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Full surrender. So Vyasadeva did do everything, but it was not full, complete. And that's why he's not getting complete satisfaction. Right? It's not that he's not getting any satisfaction. He's not getting complete satisfaction. And that's what he's regretting about. That why am I not getting complete satisfaction? This is something which we all have to understand. That's why Prabhupada, why did he tell us study the books? Because if we don't study the books, we will not understand ever what is complete Krishna consciousness, what is complete pure devotional service, what is complete surrender, and will remain in the illusion that my surrender is complete, my Krishna consciousness is complete, my devotional service is perfect. Will remain in that illusion. We'll never understand, oh, this is very small, this is nothing. What did Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur tell his members of Gaudiya Math? What did he say? If you are members of Gaudiya Math for last 15-20 years, you should become qualified to hear the very, very esoteric pastimes of Radha and Krishna and still not be agitated in your mind. This is what he told the members of Gaudiya Math. And if you are members of Gaudiya Math for the last 15-20 years, you should become qualified to come to that level of Krishna consciousness. Right? That's what is expected by them. But what about our Krishna consciousness? 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 25, 30 years. Still we struggle to complete 16 rounds. Still we don't get time to study Srimadbhagavatam. So that's why we have to understand this, studying Bhagavatam and other books. Where are we and where are we supposed to go? And how far are we from there? How far are we from there? Right? How far are we from there? Nectar of Instruction, 11 shlokas. Forget about shloka number 8, which talks about Raga Nuga Bhakti. Let's just look at verse number 1. Vacho vegam, manasah krodha vegam, jeta vegam, udaro pastha vegam. This is first shloka. First. So how far have we gone to at least come to this one? Then forget the next. Shuddhana, Ragamar, Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So that's why we have to study the books sincerely and do proper sadhu sangha and make rapid progress in Krishna consciousness. Rapid progress, intense progress. Otherwise, some people say, no, let it be gradual, slow. It can become so gradual that maybe next day of Brahma in next Kali Yuga. Next day of Brahma, when Lord Chaitanya will come again, then perhaps again we'll get a chance. So gradual. Can become so gradual. Okay. Yes, Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandat Pranam. Prabhu, I have 2 questions.
Yes.
First is like, I was just correlating the whole thing and I was seeing like it's so nicely put by Prabhupada that it's a gradual progression from Bhagavad Gita to Srimad-bhagavatam. Because in Bhagavad Gita, we see so many dharmas and here we see right in the beginning that all other dharmas are being kicked out. And here very beautifully we're putting forth the Bhagavad Dharma, its supremacy and how one should leave everything behind. But practically, I feel this is what is creating so much a problem in our society. that we don't know how to balance the things, and thinking and assuming that we are following Bhagavad Dharma, we end up having so many fights at home and so many divorces. So how do we really put it, like how do we actually understand it practically? Like, are we really ready to take this Bhagavad Dharma? Have we actually understood? We are reading Bhagavatam, we may be able to recite shlokas, but I don't think I'm so matured enough. So where to draw the line, and from like how to actually understand this?
Thank you for the nice question, Mataji. So one thing is that let us first know, to be able to practice Bhagavad Dharma in its purity, we have to do Sangha, association of real Bhagavatas. That is the first thing. You have to learn the science from those who are practicing pure Bhagavad Dharma, because they can teach. So, unfortunately, what goes on the name of Sadhu Sangha is not always Sadhu Sangha, because we don't really know and identify the true sadhus. Do we know who is a sadhu, true sadhu? We don't. If one can, that's what I said. We just look at the external charisma of someone and we think this is sadhu. So we don't try to first understand and identify who are the true sadhus. And why we don't do that? Because we don't have the understanding of what is real devotional service, what is Krishna consciousness. That understanding will come from studying the scriptures properly, scrutinizingly line by line, that what is bhakti, what is devotional service. If we don't do that, how will we understand? I'll tell you a true incident. When I was working as a teacher in Mumbai, I went to Mayapur once during the festival. And I went to TOVP office, Temple of Vedic Planetary. There was one Bengali gentleman devotee sitting on the other side of the table. And I gave some donation, some good amount from my pocket and from my friend's contribution. So that person opened the envelope, counted the notes, and then looked at me and said, Prabhu, what do you do? I said, I teach. Where? In Mumbai. So he counted the notes and said, Krishna is very kind on you. He's giving you so much money. I did not tell him anything because he was senior to me. I was thinking in my mind, is Krishna kind on me that is giving money, or is Krishna kind on you that you are getting an opportunity to stay in Dham and do seva? But you are thinking Krishna is kind on me because he has given me money. So the level of understanding of what is Krishna consciousness is very shallow in the minds of the members of ISKCON society. They don't really try to understand what is Krishna consciousness. They take materialism as Krishna consciousness, a more finer quality of material life as Krishna consciousness. But what is Krishna consciousness? That will come to know by doing proper sadhu sangha. And if someone says, I am not getting proper sadhu sangha, open the books and read it properly. At least do sadhu sangha with Prabhupada. But people don't do that also. Neither do they hear the lectures of Prabhupada, nor they read the books of Prabhupada. At least do something. Because what Prabhupada is giving is pure Krishna consciousness. No doubt about it. But not everyone in ISKCON is giving pure Krishna consciousness. There is also no doubt. So people should at least have the foundation set properly. The problem is foundation is not correct. They have developed their own ideas of what it means to be Krishna conscious. They are not aiming for the real goal. Can I tell you something honestly? Devotees say the goal of life is Krishna prema, but they don't really want it. Devotees say the goal of life is to go back home, back to God, but they don't really want it. They just want to make their material life happy. I want to stay happy in this world. So first of all, there has to be very clear understanding of what is sadhya, what is the goal. Bhakti-vaibhava Sindhu, Rupa Goswami has clearly explained. If you aim for the sadhya, the correct sadhya, then you have to identify what is the sadhana. For that aim, first understand the sadhya, the goal. What is the goal? Then go for the sadhana. So people don't know the goal. What is the goal? Why have I come to ISKCON? What is there in ISKCON for me? What is this? What can ISKCON give to me? They don't try to understand that. They are just satisfied with little things in Krishna consciousness. And think this is what Krishna consciousness is all about. So that is one big mistake, not knowing what is actually the Siddhanta, what is the goal. They don't know that, then they will not ever aspire for that. Right? And because that wrong aspiration is there, so that's why the life is also not proper. Things are not proper. If they understand the goal, why will things go wrong? Don't understand the goal. So then these problems come up. Divorces are there. They're devotees, husband and wife. And this person leaves the wife and goes and gets married to another devotee's wife. So many such things are going on. Right? For what we blame the materialistic people, we end up committing the same mistake. And then we say we are devotees. Will be exempted. Will not be exempted. And the reason why such problems comes in the life of devotees is that they are not using the opportunity given to them sufficiently. This opportunity has come with a time bound. We have to understand that. But we don't understand the seriousness of the opportunity. We think for granted we take, oh, this opportunity will always remain with me. But we forget that's not how the world functions. That's not how it functions. Like for example, if in real life also we see, if you give opportunity to someone and that person is not making good use of it, what will you do? You'll drop that person and go to the next person. Right? Won't you do that? Will you waste your time? You won't waste your time. So the acharyas, they come on a mission and they give opportunities. Right? And they look who is taking how much. Let us not remain in the illusion that they treat the followers with the same, in the same degree. No, it's not like that. They will see how sincere student you are, how sincere disciple you are, how faithful and loyal you are, and the spiritual master will invest that much only. They are not blind people who just, shower blessings blindly and you just bless anyone and everyone. They are not blind. They reciprocate as per our sincerity, because that is called justice. So people are given opportunities, and if they don't use, then the person who is giving the opportunity will think, ungrateful soul, let me go to the next. So devotees, though they are getting the opportunity because they don't know what they are getting, they don't really fully utilize it. And then the ball is passed to someone else. So this has to be done. And this is a big problem, that we are not understanding the fortune that we have. And because we don't understand the fortune we have, we are not sufficiently grateful. We are not sufficiently careful. We are not sufficiently valuing it. We are not treasuring it. And then what happens? It's taken away. Not taken away because Krishna has to take a revenge from us. It is taken away because Krishna wants to teach us the lesson the harder way. The hard way. Like you give a mobile phone to your child so that the child can study. But then you realize, oh, my son and daughter, they are misusing the mobile phone. So what do? Take the mobile phone back. And then the child will cry, Papa, Papa, please, please, no, this time I want to promise. You make the child realize, then you give. Likewise, Krishna will do with us also. I give you chance. You are third class, fourth class, 10th class person, born in Kali Yuga. You did so many sinful activities, but I gave you a chance that you can live a pure life. You can go back home, back to Godhead in this life. I gave you Prabhupada Sangha. I gave you ISKCON. I gave you these books. I gave you Sadhu Sangha. I gave you Prasada. But what did you do with this? How much benefit did you take? Did you take the sufficient benefit? No, I did not. So now you wait. Stand in the waiting list. Wait. Realize. And maybe next time when you're more serious, I'll come again and give it to you. And Krishna does that because that's what a kind father will do, just to help us realize that, we should know what to value and what not to value. That is a big problem. We are underestimating the mercy that we are getting. We are not realizing. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, oh dear devotees, please try to understand what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing. If you understand this miracle that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing, your life will change. It's a miracle. Why don't you try to understand? It's a miracle. What am I getting? Am I really qualified for all this? Am I qualified to sit and study Srimad-bhagavatam? That me who was reading garbage newspapers, novels, magazines, now I'm getting to read this Srimad-bhagavatam. Am I utilizing this opportunity sufficiently? I was earlier living in the gutter of material life. Gutter, yes. Maybe your life was better, but I was living in the gutter of material. That materialistic hostel and those college friends who were breaking all the four regulated principles. And then we got the opportunity that saintly people came in our life and gave this Sangha to us. And how much we value that. We don't value that sufficiently. And that is the reason that all these problems are coming, because we are not really putting the focus on what we are supposed to do and what we should be doing. So then Krishna's mercy, the protection of that comes from Krishna, that goes. That will go. The pure devotees of Krishna come here on a mission. And when they see that people are not taking their mission seriously, then pure devotees of Krishna will not just waste their time on us. They will come, they'll do their part, they'll go, because their going back to God, it does not depend on whether we take the message seriously or not. They come from Krishna, they go back to Krishna. But they see that how much people are taking it seriously, and unfortunately not many are taking it seriously. Not many appreciate what they're getting. If they appreciate, they will make the required sacrifice. If they appreciate, they will try to follow everything what is being taught to us, especially. If they appreciate, they will know why they are wasting so much time in their such materialistic activities. Still, devotees going to movies, watching television, going out on parties after taking initiation. Why? Can't live without television. Can't live without eating outside. Can't live without petty material things. So if we cannot do that much, if we cannot, then why will there be mercy and protection from the parampara? It won't be there. And when the mercy and protection from parampara is not there, Kali Yuga will catch. Kali will attack. Kali will make us break the four principles. So that's why the problems are there, because there's no protection from parampara. If parampara is protecting, how can one go through such problems? Problems here don't mean that okay, one will have challenges in life like the Pandavas. Problems I mean is these kind of problems. Having divorces, having going to the jail, doing this, doing that. How these problems will come? What is the reason? Can anyone say, I am doing everything nicely, that's why the problems are coming? Like this kind of problems. They should seriously look at their sadhana, at their agenda, at their ambition, why they are practicing Krishna consciousness. These are serious slaps from Krishna's mind. And they should awaken people that I was tightly slapped by Maya. What is the lesson that Krishna wants to teach me? But instead of doing that, we just cover it with a bed sheet, the problem, and not make the problem appear as a problem. And in the name of transcendental organization, transcendental society, we just let it happen. So that's the problem actually. I strongly feel that devotees don't properly try to understand what is Krishna consciousness. When you talk about balance between material life and spiritual life, let me tell you something honestly. For one who understands Krishna consciousness, there is nothing like balance. Everything is Krishna consciousness. Everything. There is nothing like balance. This word is wrong. Why there has to be balance? If one knows the art and science of Krishna consciousness, there is nothing material. Everything is spiritual. Going to a job is also spiritual, right? Taking care of husband, wife, children is also spiritual. Everything is spiritual. What is material about it? Because Prabhupada's philosophy, if you read Prabhupada's book, there is nowhere he has used the word balance between material life and spiritual life. Whereas he tells, you need to learn the art of Krishna consciousness, by which everything becomes Krishna conscious. Right? You're going to the job, working for your family, earning for the family, everything what we tend to think this is material, that also does not remain material, just spiritual. So why there has to be something like balance? Everything is spiritual, Krishna consciousness. It's just that one has to understand one's roles and responsibilities, and one has to do that in a dutiful manner. That, okay, if I have a wife, I have a responsibility. If I have a husband, I have a responsibility. If I have children, I have responsibility. If I live in a society, I have responsibility. One has to understand one's roles and responsibilities and do that in a dutiful manner with Krishna consciousness. And then in that way, 24 hours a day, what one is doing is Krishna consciousness. One has to learn.
I think, Prabhu, may I just add, like what you said is really true. Like there's no balancing as such. But I think this stage comes when one is actually in Krishna consciousness. But it takes quite some time to come to that plane of thinking. Like I see so many Matajis, their husband is not practicing and they see them with so much of disrespect. Or the husband is there, wife is not practicing. They are not able to respect them. So what kind of bhakti is that which makes them feel so superior? In fact, more and more humility should come. And they say, no, we just want to get rid of them. She is not helping me. So in that state where one is not actually achieved that state of perfection where someone is just taking some baby steps. So there, I just try to tell them, try to balance the things. You don't need to leave that person as such. You
But,
have your responsibility.
but then again, one thing, like for that person is thinking that my wife or husband is not helping me, right? A person is thinking like that, then that person should know one thing, that you are put in that situation not because your wife is wrong or your husband is wrong. Your karma is wrong. It's you who is the cause of the problem. So the solution should happen at your end, not at the wife's end or the husband's end. People even don't understand that much. Right? They
Yes.
just want to run away, escape. So escapism is not Krishna consciousness. If they study Bhagavad Gita chapter 3, this month they will understand. But for that, they have to open the book called Bhagavad Gita. And they have to read chapter 3. The Prabhupada explains about Karma Yoga. So you have to
Prabhu, I feel many of them, not that no of them know the things so nicely, but when it comes to application part of that, it becomes so difficult. Like even in our question paper also, we got one question, the qualifications of the speaker of Bhagavatam. Same way we have qualification for audience also. We may be able to remember so many things, we may be able to recite it so nicely, but then it does not mean that we are qualified to hear or understand Srimad-bhagavatam.
That is true, but then one has to, mm, one has to come to that seriousness soon. It's not that one will take long time to come to that. One has to come to that seriousness soon, that we understand. If we are not understanding, we need to cry to Krishna for help. We have to plead to the Lord that I am very fallen, lift me up. We have to plead like that. But the problem is that we don't even plead. We don't even cry. We don't even request Krishna.
Yes.
If there's a problem, why don't we go to Krishna to ask for help? We don't. So anyway, we can tell those people that, okay, you do this, you try to make it like this, make it like that. We can give them so many solutions. But all our solutions will not work if they are not sincere. And if they are sincere, then we don't have to give so much of counseling also. For really sincere souls, we don't have to give them so much guidance. Those are genuinely sincere. They get most of the help from within the heart, by their sadhana, by their swadhyaya. And if we have to really spend so much of time on anyone, we have to give so much of guidance, we should know one thing, that person is not very sincere. You don't have to spend so much. Because people are not sincere, that's why they end up creating more problems in their own life. One problem comes, then while solving that problem, they create 5 problems. And then they create 20 problems. And in that way, they're just messing up their life. So in that situation, what can a preacher do? Not much.
Very true.
Not much. That's why they have to properly understand the whole thing. It's an assignment. Just like when you sit for an exam, you're given 2 hours. 2 hours is the time period. Complete the exam within the 2 hours. Likewise, you should know, we all individually have been given an assignment. And it's time bound. Right? It's time bound. Many people waste their time thinking, I have a lot of time, or I'll be given extra time. Then they will lose the opportunity. So this is what individually devotees should try to understand. We have given time for certain thing. This is my situation. This is the goal. I need to get there. How can I? Sincerely. If you do, scriptures are full of examples. Unfavorable husband, unfavorable wife, unfavorable children, unfavorable parents, unfavorable association. But success stories are there.
Yes.
Isn't it? Success stories are
Yes. Yes.
In fact, even if you are a very sincere devotee, other devotees will create problem in your life. Why? Because those problems are not created by devotees. Those problems have come to our life either because of our past karma,
Very true.
or that problem has come to our life because Krishna wants to kick us. That how long will you remain at this level? Go up. That problem comes from Krishna also sometimes. I want you to move to the next level. But instead of looking at Krishna's hand, because we are not so clear in what is Krishna consciousness, instead of looking at Krishna's hand and using that as an opportunity to grow, we rather do the wrong thing. So this has to, devotees have to, I strongly feel that devotees, wherever they are, whoever they are, whether new or old, if they just take to this process with more seriousness, and not make it a plaything, then Krishna's magic will come in life. Krishna will do the magic. And if Krishna cannot do that magic, then Krishna is not Supreme Personality of God.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu's second question. But it's like I'm not able to remember the reference, but I remember somewhere Prabhupada has written a tree is known by the fruits. And here we see Narada Muni, he has such brilliant disciples. And when I see myself as a disciple of my guru, he is very nice, but I am so horrible. So how do I understand this statement, Prabhu?
That's okay. A disciple should always feel like that, Mataji. So what kind of disciple we are, individually speaking, we should always feel like this for ourselves. But then the guru will decide what kind of disciple we are and accordingly reward us. So on our part, we should feel like this. On Guru's part, he feels whatever he feels. So that's for him to feel. If the Guru feels I'm happy with this disciple, then that disciple's life is successful. On disciples' part, I should always feel that I'm an unqualified disciple of my spiritual master. Right. On Guru's part, then Guru will think what kind of disciple we are. It's not that the day when I start feeling that I'm qualified disciple, then I become qualified. Right? So that's for the Guru to decide whether I'm qualified disciple or not, whether I'm bona fide or not, whether I'm first class, second class, third class, fourth class, or not. But for a disciple should always think I am fourth class disciple. So their judgment and evaluation is different from our judgment and evaluation. In our evaluation, we should always feel, I am not a disciple, I am not a good disciple, I am not really good. Others are so good. We should look at their dedication, their devotion, and we should think, oh, they are so nice disciples. They love the Guru so much. They are so dedicated, so surrendered. I am not. That's how a devotee should feel. Whether it's honest feeling or it's not honest feeling, a devotee should feel like that. And then let the Guru decide what kind of disciple that person is. If the Guru decides, this is good, okay, done for me. And if the Guru decides this is not good, then don't worry. That message will also come from Guru and Krishna. And so for our part, we should always feel like this, oh, I'm not qualified disciple. Then we can always improve and get better in our Krishna consciousness. A disciple should always feel like a disciple. Disciple means what? I'm a student, I'm a learner, I don't know, I commit mistakes, I do wrong things. And the Guru will decide on their part. That's for them to decide. Okay, I'll just go to the next question. We'll stop here. Gyan Prabhu, Gyananda Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for opening our eyes, but I don't know how much of my eyes are.
My own eyes are not open yet. How can I open your eyes?
Prabhuji, I have one doubt. Vedaja is perfect because it has come from Lord Krishna. So Vyasdeva has divided it. So devotion is there. So then how he is feeling that devotion is not there? He is missing the devotion.
Devotion is there now, but he did not focus on pure devotion. And again, we should know one thing. Vyasdeva is acting. Acting in the sense, it's a drama. And he has to play a role. Right? So in reality, he is pure. But this is just an instant for Lord Krishna to teach us that, okay, there is a mistake. Yes, there is diagnosing that. Where did he go wrong? And he identified with the help of his spiritual master. I did not give pure Krishna consciousness. Bhagavatam. So Krishna is teaching us that we should also learn like this, understand. We have to go to a purer level of Krishna consciousness with the help of our spiritual master. Go to the next level, go to the next level. And always remain focused on Bhagavatam, pure Krishna consciousness. That will give satisfaction to him. He's teaching us. Teaching us. Vyasadeva did a welfare activity, but then again, a welfare activity on what level? If you do welfare activity which will benefit people's body, that's not complete. If you do welfare activity which will benefit people's mind, that is not complete. If we do welfare activity by stimulating the intellect of people, that is not complete. But we have to surcharge the spirit soul with Krishna consciousness. That will satisfy the people completely. That will satisfy the Supreme Lord completely. That will satisfy us in return. So that's what he's trying to teach.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So it's pure Krishna consciousness. Only practice of pure Krishna consciousness and giving pure Krishna consciousness to others can fully satisfy the heart. Nothing else. Not complete. It doesn't mean that there won't be any satisfaction, but it won't be complete satisfaction. Right? That's why I'll end up with this one thing. We should not become overwhelmed by a little success in Krishna consciousness, taking that to be the ultimate success. Sometimes that is what happens. No? We got little success. Oh, I have 1,000 YouTube subscribers. When I chant Kirtan, 200 people are dancing. I have given 500 seminars. 2,000 books I have distributed. So we become very, very much excited about these petty successes. And we don't really realize that the goal is very high. And instead of looking at that goal, we become very happy with the little success and we enter into party mode. Party mode means what? Now let me celebrate my success. And if interestingly Krishna has given you some chelas, disciples, then they will become your best enemies. Because they will tell you, my dear Gurudev, Prabhuji Mataji, you are such a nice devotee, pure devotee of Krishna. And then, yes, I have become pure devotee of Krishna. Because you are telling, right? A Kanishta will rubber stamp us as pure devotees and will think, yes, I become very nice. So then we'll not move forward. not go for it. And that is happening so much in our society. We are just happy with where we are. Just happy with where we are. We're not trying to move. And somehow or other we have people who are also there to encourage us. That Prabhu, you are very fine. Why are you thinking so much about pure Krishna consciousness? You are already doing so much. In Kali Yuga, you cannot do more than this, you know. We are Kali Yuga people. So this much if you are doing, this is sufficient. So this thing is not correct. We should not, you know. Though we are Kali Yuga people, but we should know one thing, that there is no limit to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That even if we are Chandalas, which means lowest class, by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can become pure Vaishnavas. That possibility is there, right? Let us not try to bring down the level of mercy of Sri Chaitanya by telling, I am so fallen. Actually, if we are fallen, we are the best candidates for deliverance. If we really think we are fallen, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will first make us the pure devotee of Krishna, you know, because that's what they are catching. Nityananda Prabhu catches the most fallen and makes him the highest devotee. That's what they do. Their first customer is that person who feels I am most fallen. That's their first customer. So that's we have to understand. We are very small, we are very bad, we are whatever. But the mercy of Mahaprabhu is great. And we should aim for that. Do not settle for something smaller. Srila always told this. Aim for the rhinoceros. Aim for the rhinoceros. So if we may be fallen, but don't have small goals. Right? Make great goals. Making great goal means what? I should become a pure devotee of Krishna. Pure devotee of Krishna. Okay, so yes, it's happening everywhere. All right, we'll stop here. Thank you so much. See you next week. We'll start a new chapter, and with my small mouth, if I said something big which I'm not qualified to speak, the Supreme Lord, the Acharyas and Vaishnavas, forgive me. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.